All right, y'all, let's talk about the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2. Is it any good in 2024? I say yes. Even without telling you anything else about the device, it is definitely worth picking up in 2024. Now, this was released in 2020, so it's almost 4 years old, but it's still a great device. It's beautifully crafted. The build quality is just, it feels like nothing but quality in your hand. Now, it's a fingerprint magnet, but it feels great in the hand. Now, it's going to have some weight to it, which I don't mind, but sometimes it can feel, a little more heavy than I would like. It just depends. But man, without the case on it, it feels super premium. Feels really good. It's fully unlocked for all carriers, which is always a good thing. But the build quality I like a lot. It doesn't, the design is fine. It's not, eye popping, eye catching or anything like that. It's okay. But it's a beautifully crafted device with the little hinge. Now this hinge sticks out a lot more than the Z Fold 4. The hinge is a little smaller, but keep in mind this was their second attempt with a foldable device at the time. So, they were getting better because the hinge on the original Galaxy Fold was much bigger than this. So they were shaving it down, every iteration of this, particular device. So the hinge is not a big deal, but I will say this, the hinge is very, very stiff. I mean, you can see it right here. It still holds up in any kind of configuration you want to put it in. It's just as stiff as when I first bought it. And I've had this now for a few years. So the hinge is actually excellent. I was just pointing out that it is a little bit bigger, than your Z Fold 4. But it's in excellent condition. Like, it's smooth when you open it, but it's nice and stiff. And it's weird, but sometimes I like the way the hinge feels on this over my Z Fold 4. It's hard to explain. It is stiffer. It's not as easy to open, like not hard to open, but you could just feel the stiffness in it. And I like that. I kind of like that. It makes me feel like the hinge is going to hold up a lot longer. Not saying that it won't hold up longer on the Z Fold 4, but it's hard to explain unless you've had, both devices. It's really hard to explain, but it's excellent. Sorry about that. I don't know what this thing is doing all of a sudden. Okay. Things acting crazy. All right. Yeah, I don't know why it feels like that, but the hinge feels really, really good. I like it. All right. Now, you do have your face unlock, which is typical Samsung face unlock. It's okay, It's not horrible, but it's okay. It's not, it's not always on point, and you have the face unlock on the outer and the inner. So that's good because and of course you have the face unlock on the Z Fold 4 too, but you could actually see the camera cut out here on the Z Fold 4 is hidden underneath, so you can't really see it, but it still works. So just so you know that. So you got face unlock on the outer and inner. Always on display. This is Samsung's old school, always on display. Love it because you can see the notifications are in their own color, and that's what I like. And I just didn't want to go back. I just don't like the new. I don't know what happened to my it must have fell. Oh, never mind. Hold up. I'm sorry, y'all. Got a little distracted. I wanted to wipe down this thing because it has fingerprints all over it, and I know some people out there have OCD. All right. So this is the way I want my always on display. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't a terrible always on display, but I don't like how small the notifications are, and I don't like that they're all white. See how they got their, Facebook is colored blue, and if I had YouTube, it would be red. As opposed to this, everything is just white, and the notifications are just so small. So I just don't like this new always on display. I do like the widgets that you can add to the always on display, But I wish Samsung would change this to make these notifications bigger and make them be able to be in their own color, and I'll be fine, because that's the way it used to be before I upgraded to that newer One UI. So also with the always on display, of course, you have always on display on your inner display as well. And you can move this over in the middle, on the side. Let me turn this off and just let it come up. There you go. So you got your always on display on the outer and the inner display. Also, you can have two separate home screens. Now, with this, now I got a live wallpaper right here, which I absolutely love. On the inside, it should be different, but I think it may have, I think it's actually the same on the inner one too. Let me see. Yeah, it's the same one on the inner, but you can have two different type of live wallpapers. I really like this one because it's like, it shows like these planets. Hold up. I don't know how that came. I don't know how the face unlock work with me behind the camera. Oh, I know. It's just from my thumb. Hold on, y'all. I want you to see. Let me slide this down so it'll keep going. So you can't see the whole thing because of all these notifications, but it's beautiful. I love it. All right. So always on display inner, outer, always on display inner. You could have a different home display on the outer and the inner, but mine's is exactly the same because that's just the way I like it. I like everything to be uniformed, but you can have two different home screens. You can do that. All right. You got your side mounted fingerprint sensor. I don't like side mounted fingerprint sensors, but it works. It works fine. Not a big deal. I prefer it to be an in-display fingerprint sensor, but there's a lot of people that rather like, the one on the side. I just don't. I prefer it to be on the, in the display. That's what I prefer, but it works fine. Your dual stereo speakers are great. The dual stereo speakers on the Z Fold 2 are definitely better than the Z Fold 4. I don't know what Samsung did. I don't know why they changed anything. They should have put the exact same speakers in the Z Fold 4, but they're just not as loud nor as good as the Z Fold 2 and the Galaxy Z Fold to me, in my opinion, based on the fact that I have all three. They definitely sound better on the Z Fold 2. They sound really, really good. So you'll definitely enjoy your content, whether it's listening to music or whether it's watching videos. You'll love the dual stereo speakers on this device. Now let's look at the covered display. You got a 6.23 inch Super AMOLED display. Now keep in mind it is narrow. You can see this bezel here on the side. This is very narrow. This is one of the main things why I like the device, but I hated the outer display, and I barely ever used it because it was just too narrow. Especially if I want to send a text message, it's just too cramped, just too small for me. I know you could swipe, but I don't swipe. I know you could do voice text. You could do that too, but I guess I'm just used to typing, but this is just too small. Now it's easily to reach everything. I will say that, but it's just too small for me, just too small. So the outer display is cool. It's beautiful, but it's just too narrow for me. Now, what I like the most is the inner display. 7.6 inch dynamic AMOLED display, 120 hertz HDR10 plus. Now there's no 120 hertz on the cover display, but you do get 120 hertz on the inner display. Okay. Now, when it comes to the crease, you can see it, I guess, if you're looking at it from certain angles. But if you're looking at it just like this dead on, you're not going to see that crease, no matter what configuration. See, when the light just hit it a certain way, see, you can see it. But when you're looking at it dead on like this, you're not going to see that crease. Okay. This is an absolutely beautiful dynamic AMOLED display. No bezels. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Like, I never get tired of staring at this display. I'm serious. Like, this is my favorite part of this whole device, It's this huge 7.6-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now, the camera cutout, I know it's kind of big and noticeable, but once I'm, watching content or, using, I don't even notice it. Honestly, I don't really notice it. So that's not a big deal for me. With this device also, you get 25-watt wired charging. It's going to take over an hour. Like, you're looking at about hour and 25 minutes. No, I say about an hour and 20 minutes, which is okay. It's not that fast. 15-watt wireless charging and 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. Neither neither one of those are impressive. It's just not for a phone when it was released was $2,000. Okay, those charging speeds are unacceptable for a $2,000 device. It's just not acceptable. But it is what it is. You got 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. Keep in mind, the original Galaxy Fold came standard 512 gigs. They took away 200-something gigs with this one and still charged the same price, which I thought was ridiculous. Also, with this device, there's no water resistance and there's no S Pen compatibility. You didn't start getting water resistance or S Pen compatibility until the Z Fold 3. So keep that in mind. Now, if you don't use the S Pen, it don't even matter. If you're not going to have your phone around water like that, that's not a big deal. But for some people, it is a big deal. You do have your flex mode, which you can use the phone in this configuration. Say, I'll show you if I go on. Sometimes this thing rotates kind of slow, which is annoying. See, if I'm on YouTube and I want to go to flex mode, there you go right there. I can still watch, what I'm watching, and down here will be my controls. And I could also leave comments while I'm watching the video. So flex mode is cool, and you can also use flex mode in the camera. I don't know why this thing is rotating. You see how it's not rotating? It's like it's supposed to sometimes it just slow. I don't know what it is, but it should have just rotated on its own. But anyway, you also can use flex mode on the camera. And you could also set it up when you sit it down, and you could time it, take a selfie or a video or whatever. But you see all your controls are down here. You got your thing up here. So flex mode is cool. I don't really use it often. It's something I don't use often at all, but it is there if you want to use it. Now, say we go back to YouTube, you got your taskbar down here. So if you just want to go back to another app, you can just do that. It's just seamless. So I like having that taskbar. You can have it where you can see it all the time, or you could hide it. I have it where I'm only going to see it, like if I'm in YouTube, then I'll see it down here. But you can, make the adjustment with these dots right here. You can push this. Let me see. Sometimes it's hard doing stuff behind the camera. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, you could bring up, hold up. Maybe that's something else. My bad. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, I'm thinking about something. Okay, so you can make it go away by just pressing on that, and then you can make it come back.
Let's talk about the Galaxy Fold.
Sorry about that, y'all. I'm all over the place. See, now I got to get it to come back, but I'll do that some other time. I usually just leave it. I don't really fool with it. So I'll have to set it up where I can have it, where I can see it again. But you also have multitasking as well. You can use up to literally 4 apps at the same time. Not going to do that because, you already know, but you can use up to 4 apps at the same time. It's really cool. I don't use that because I don't need to use 4 apps at the same time, but the capability is there. I usually use just 2 apps, and I have them already set up like this. You could put 2 together and have them already set up. This is
Should you consider upgrading from
this is my configuration that I choose. That's what I particularly like. But of course, you could change it to this. There may be more people that like it this way, but not me. So I prefer this configuration. And also, even with that, you could see it's a star right there. So you can make these 2 apps your favorite, and it'll be stored on your home screen. So you do have choices. You can also switch them side to side. So I love that. I really love that a lot. Of course, you're getting Samsung Dex, Samsung Pass, Samsung Wallet, Samsung Notes, which is a must for me. I need that. I make all of my YouTube videos based on Samsung Notes. You got edge panels right here on the side. I use these every single day. They're very useful. Not saying everybody does, but they're very, very useful for me. Edge lighting, which I love, where you get a notification and the whole borders around the device turn different colors. Whatever color that app is, that's what the lighting is going to be. And I like that because it does it whether the screen is on or whether the screen is off. So I like that. Of course, you got Good Lock that, of course, takes your level of customization to a whole nother level. You could go in here and just really change up a lot of things. You got Theme Park, Wonderland, Lockstar, Keys Calf, Nevstar, Home Up, Clock, Face, Quick Star, Edge Lighting. Then you could change this right here, and there's even more stuff in here that you can customize your device. It's just Samsung is one of the most customizable UIs on the market, no question about it. Now also you got one-handed mode, so of course you just swipe down. You can make the whole thing smaller. You can move it from side to side depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, and then when you're done you just press any space, and then it'll go back to normal. You also have you have it on this display too. Now it looks a little weird because it's so long and narrow, but you have it on either screen. You can do the same things. Just want to let you know that. Now, when it comes to performance, now this device has a Snapdragon 865. Android 13 was the last Android update. One UI 5.1.1. Unfortunately, no more software support, no more security patches. The last security patch I got was December 2023. If that's not a big deal, I say still get this device because you're going to still pay considerably less money, excuse me, for other foldables that are way more expensive. They like the Z Fold 4, the Z Fold 5, things like that, even the Z Fold 3. But keep in mind, no security patches, no more software support. But I will say this: the overall. Let me close all these out. Overall, when it comes to performance, I'm not having any issue with performance. Everything is still pretty quick. Everything is still relatively smooth. Not having any issues when it comes to performance. I haven't had any performance issues since I had this device, none whatsoever. And I mean that. I'm just being deadly serious. No performance issues. Everything loads up relatively fast and everything is relatively smooth. My scrolling is still nice and smooth. It's fast. It's fluid. No issues when it comes to performance on this device. Now, of course, when it comes to the cameras, you got a 12 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. All the cameras on this device, whether it's the outer, inner, or in the back, all can shoot 4K at 60. All of them. So that's a really good thing. Of course, with your selfie camera, you also got on the inner and outer display, both are 10 megapixel wide. Okay. Now you can take photos with the rear cameras too. Okay. And that's called, I forgot what that's called, but let me just show you what I mean by that. Go into the camera and here it is right here. So basically, is that, no, that's not the one. I just think I got to switch it around. Cover screen preview is on. Let me see. Cause see, I never use this thing. Oh, there it is. So basically you could take a selfie with the, well, I just hit the camera thing. Basically you could turn it around, take selfies with the rear cameras. There it is. See it right there? So that's cool. So maybe if you do it like this, and you may want to take a selfie like that, but you could do it. So that's good for those people that are heavily into the camera like that. I'm not heavily into the camera like that, so it's not a big deal for me. But do I still think this device is worth it? in 2024? Yes, I do. It's a high quality build. It is kind of heavy, so it may feel like a big heavy brick in your pocket. Keep that in mind. I do always use a case on it, but I took it off for the video. You got the standard always on display that you'll like if you know don't like the new one, because I definitely don't like the newer one. Hinge is very, very good. Very well built. Excellent display. Excellent speakers. Excellent performance. The cameras, even though I gave you the specs for the cameras are still very, very good. Very, very good. No issues with the cameras at all. Of course, you know, newer models cameras are better, but these cameras are good. Trust me. The video that I've taken with these are good. Hinge is good. Build quality is good. Performance good. The outer display and the inner display is excellent. I already said excellent speakers. Excellent audio through the USB Type-C port as well. Face unlock, I said, still works okay. Fingerprint sensor works pretty well. So overall, it's still, to me, a great device, honestly. If you're looking to get into foldables and you don't want to pay, you know, over $1,000 for one, I say get either the Z Fold 2 or the Z Fold 3. But I've never had the Z Fold 3. I'm still rocking the Z Fold 2. But I also have the Z Fold 4 as well. And I like that one primarily because the outer display is just so much bigger. And this is a little lighter. Okay, you can see the difference between the two when it comes to that outer display. It's just way wider. And I like that. Okay, and I love this color. And the design language I like a lot better on the Z Fold 4 when it comes to design. I think this design just looks a lot better. But both are great. But do I recommend this phone in 2024? Yes, I do. So thank you all for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate it. I hope everybody out there staying safe, staying well, and I'll check you guys out in the next one. Peace.